Peter Parker's first invention. Unlike most heroes who rely solely on powers, Spider-Man is as much an inventor as he is a fighter. His most defining gadget has always been the mechanical web shooters. In Sam Raimi's 2002 trilogy, Peter's webs were organic, a mutation of his spider DNA, but later films returned to the original idea from the comics, emphasizing Peter's intelligence by giving him wrist-mounted devices. In The Amazing Spider-Man 2012, Andrew Garfield's Peter constructed compact, wrist-worn shooters using scavenged parts and miniature pressure triggers. These shooters compressed a specialized polymer fluid into strands strong enough to hold up a moving car or swing Peter across Manhattan. The shooters were not indestructible. In the lizard's sewer lair, one of Peter's shooters was crushed, leaving him vulnerable. The limitation forced him to rely on strategy rather than raw strength, a recurring theme in Spider-Man's battles. In the MCU, Tom Holland's Peter also carried web shooters, but with Stark's improvements layered onto his foundation. These included more durable casings, adjustable nozzles, and synchronization with his suit, AI. By making his webs mechanical, the films highlighted Peter's dual nature, a young man who survives not because of brute force, but because of his brain and his courage. The lifeblood of his tech. The shooters would be useless without web cartridges, each holding a limited supply of synthetic fluid. In The Amazing Spider-Man, Peter created this formula in his bedroom, testing viscosity and tensile strength until he perfected a liquid capable of forming strands with a tensile strength exceeding steel. Each cartridge could last anywhere from a few swings to an entire fight, depending on usage. This limitation added tension to his story. During the battle with Electro, Peter ran dangerously low on webbing, showing that one of his greatest tools was also one of his greatest vulnerabilities. In the MCU, Tony Stark expanded Peter's design. His cartridges became modular, allowing him to swap out types of webs mid-fight. This included ricochet webs for bouncing shots, taser webs for stunning enemies, rapid-fire dispersal for crowd control, and web grenades that expanded on impact. A pivotal moment came in Captain America: Civil War, when Peter used enhanced webbing to immobilize Giant Man, proving that his tech could stop even the most powerful opponents. Yet the cartridges also reinforced Spider-Man's mortality. If they ran out, Peter was left with only his reflexes and fists, a dangerous reality in battles against superhuman foes. The gliding upgrade web wings date back to Spider-Man's earliest comic designs, often overlooked until Spider-Man: Homecoming reintroduced them as part of Peter's Stark-designed suit. Unlike full wings, these were fine membranes stretching from wrist to waist, deployed when Peter spread his arms. While they couldn't support true flight, they allowed him to glide short distances, reduce fall velocity, and stabilize during complex maneuvers. The wings first appeared during the Washington Monument sequence, when Peter attempted to save his classmates trapped in the elevator. As he leapt from a helicopter and misjudged his trajectory, the wings expanded, keeping him airborne long enough to adjust his landing. They became a subtle but significant addition, bridging the gap between web swinging and aerial combat. In fights, the wings gave him evasive options against armed enemies, making him harder to target mid-air. Thematically, the wings were a nod to Spider-Man's legacy, blending comic book nostalgia with modern technology. They symbolized how Stark's intervention gave Peter new tools, but also raised the question: was he still the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, or was he being reshaped into something bigger than himself? Nanotechnology armor. The Iron Spider suit, gifted to Peter by Tony Stark in Avengers: Infinity War, marked the peak of Spider-Man's technological evolution. Constructed with nanotechnology, the suit could deploy instantaneously, surrounding Peter in metallic armor. Its most notable feature was the set of 4 mechanical arms, or Waldos, extending from his back. These arms gave him enhanced combat reach, the ability to lift massive objects, and even served as stabilizers during high-speed movement. The Iron Spider wasn't just stronger, it was versatile. It provided oxygen supply for space travel, advanced heads-up display interfaces, and automated repair systems. We saw its full potential during the battle on Titan, where Peter worked alongside Iron Man and Doctor Strange to restrain Thanos. The Waldos allowed him to anchor himself against Thanos' raw strength, something unimaginable for earlier versions of Spider-Man. But the suit also represented dependence. Unlike his homemade outfits, this was Stark's creation, a gift of power that distanced Peter from his identity as a self-made hero. In Spider-Man: No Way Home, when Peter later battled without Stark's support, The absence of the Iron Spider forced him to rely again on his roots: brains, bravery, and his original web shooters. Spider Drone, remote reconnaissance. The upgraded Stark suit in Homecoming concealed more than combat tools. Embedded in the chest emblem was a detachable drone. This spider drone could scout buildings, track enemies, and transmit surveillance data back to Peter's visor. For a teenager balancing heroics with high school, it was a leap into advanced espionage. The drone highlighted a transition in Peter's world. No longer just a street-level hero swinging after muggers, he now had technology rivaling military-grade reconnaissance. The drone's deployment during the Vulture investigation underscored how Peter was being groomed into a larger role as an Avenger, even if he wasn't fully ready for it. Yet, the drone was rarely used, perhaps intentionally, as it symbolized the blurred line between neighborhood heroics and global surveillance. It was another reminder of Stark's influence, giving Spider-Man gadgets that edged closer to Iron Man territory than Peter Parker's humble beginnings. Instant kill mode, the controversial feature. When the Iron Spider revealed its instant kill mode in Avengers Endgame, it shocked audiences. With glowing red lenses and autonomous targeting systems, the suit unleashed lethal strikes against Thanos' alien army. The feature was designed by Stark as a last resort, but it clashed with Spider-Man's established code of non-lethality. Its inclusion highlighted the tension in Peter's mentorship under Tony. Stark saw war as a necessity, designing failsafes even if they contradicted Peter's morals. For Peter, using instant kill wasn't about choosing violence. It was about survival. Against the overwhelming Outriders, the feature allowed him to stay alive long enough to guard the Infinity Gauntlet. The controversy surrounding this gadget was less about effectiveness and more about symbolism. Should Spider-Man, a hero built on compassion, wield a tool designed to kill? Fans debated this heavily, with some seeing it as practical in a cosmic war, while others felt it undermined Peter's identity. Either way, instant kill remains one of the most polarizing gadgets in Spider-Man's arsenal. Stealth suit, night monkey gear. Far From Home introduced a radical departure from Spider-Man's colorful suits. Provided by Nick Fury, the stealth suit stripped away bright colors for black tactical fabric, armored plating, and adaptive optics. It was designed for covert operations, not flashy heroics. For Peter, still a teenager, the suit felt alien, lacking his personal touch and representing the weight of responsibility thrust upon him. In action, the suit offered night vision and sound-dampening fabric, making infiltration possible without detection. Its practicality was seen during missions against the supposed elementals, where stealth was more valuable than spectacle. The suit even carried comedic weight when locals misidentified him as Night Monkey, a humorous label masking its deadly purpose. What made this gadget stand out wasn't its features, but what it represented. It stripped Spider-Man of his identity, forcing him into the role of an anonymous soldier. Unlike Stark's flashy upgrades, this was utilitarian. A reminder that Spider-Man's gadgets are tools, but who he is beneath the mask matters more than the technology surrounding him. Integrated suit, magic meets technology. In Spider-Man No Way Home, Peter's suit took an unprecedented step, the fusion of Stark nanotech with Doctor Strange's mystic enchantments. After their battle with Electro, residual magic fused with the Iron Spider's nanoparticles, creating what became known as the integrated suit. This combination allowed Peter to wield magical restraints, conjuring glowing bindings to contain multiversal threats. Though its screen time was brief, the suit's symbolism was massive. It marked the intersection of Peter's scientific world with the supernatural realm of the MCU. For the first time, Spider-Man's gadgets weren't purely mechanical, they were infused with sorcery. This hybrid suit underlined Peter's central role in the multiverse saga, bridging science, technology, and mysticism. It also foreshadowed Spider-Man's future, a hero not confined to the streets of Queens, but one standing at the center of cosmic battles. Across decades of adaptations, Spider-Man's gadgets have defined him as much as his powers. From homemade web shooters in a bedroom to nanotechnology armor infused with magic, each device reflects both his growth and the world around him. The gadgets reveal the duality of Peter Parker, a boy genius balancing invention with responsibility, and a hero learning that tools can never replace courage. Whether swinging on fragile web fluid or facing gods with Stark's tech, Spider-Man's gadgets are more than accessories. They are symbols of his journey, reminding us that the world's most relatable hero is also one of its most ingenious.